The 5 E's, 5 characteristics of our inherent enoughness, go with the 3 P's. Life is not permanent, not perfect, not personal, and the 4 C's, the 4 conditions of being human beyond our control, and what happens next is up to us. And of course, those conditions are, along with the detail on the P's and the E's, is included in that document I sent out in the email and have been sharing with you frequently. This business of being human, of living a human life, can really be enhanced, can really help. We can really move toward a sense of freedom, of choice, when we are paying attention to awareness, understanding, and kindness. And the understanding part of this is familiarizing ourselves with the P's, C's, and E's, so that we come to this place where we appreciate the reality of these 3 dimensions, 3 different ways of experiencing life. It isn't a question of truth or untruth. It's just that these 3 categories of things are there. They're present. They're part of what it means to live a human life. And to the extent that we are able to gain understanding of them, be connected to them, internalize them, then we shift from being in a place where they are in control of us, where we're in a place of ignorance about them, to where we're in a place of finding space where we can make choices, where we have a sense of freedom. We spent a lot of time working with the P's and the C's, so I thought it was time we spent some in-depth experience with the 5 E's, which are, in addition to awareness, our capacities to protect ourselves, our capacity to connect with all of life, every element of life, our capacity for self-regulation, and our capacity for learning. And we'll work with each of these in some depth as we go through this week and next week, so that we really have appreciation of how each of them shows up in our lives and how we can cultivate them to our advantage to help us keep moving toward this place of freedom, where we're able to make choices, skillful choices, in which we engage in thoughts, spoken words, and actions that are not harmful to others or to ourselves. One of the reasons that I wanted to focus on awareness today is that, in a way, it's the ground, it's the linchpin, it's the opening. Maybe opening's the best word here. Opening to these other 4 characteristics of being enough: protecting, connecting, self-regulating, and learning. So let's begin with a little practice about awareness and see what comes up. Settling in your typical way of settling in. Giving yourself a little space for coming into presence. For allowing yourself to just sink in to the surface you're sitting on. And beginning today by imagining yourself out on a brisk walk on a warm summer day. The day's not too hot, but there's some warmth in the air. The sun's shining. It's energizing. You're happy to be there. And you're able to be walking along for a while, enjoying the sights, sounds, even perhaps the smells of the day as you pick up the fragrance from some orange blossom or roses or other flowers. And you're out walking for maybe 15 minutes, maybe 30 minutes, whatever is good for you. And as you're moving toward the end of the walk, you're beginning to sense that this is enough time in this brisk activity, and you're ready to be heading home. And you walk back into the house, and the first thing you do is pour yourself a glass of cool water. And then you go to a comfortable seat after this period of activity and energizing yourself. And you just sit comfortably in this seat and sip the cool water and say, just imagining yourself in that place, feeling the experience of Being fully present in this experience is what we mean by meditation. Just this moment, just this experience. Feeling the specifics of relaxing, of the cool water in your mouth and going down the throat. And now gradually shifting your attention to your breathing, finding the way that the breathing process shows up in your body that you can pay attention to. And today we'll be just a little bit more focused, a little more concentrated with our attention on the breathing experience. And inviting you to notice that there's this fraction of a second of a pause that occurs between the in-breath and the out-breath, and the out-breath and the in-breath. Simply being aware of that fractional hesitation, fractional pause in the breathing process. And in these moments of being aware of that pause, experiment with the knowing quality of awareness. This quality of being the observer. Perhaps even noticing how your awareness is just outside your body. Sometimes it feels to me as if it's wrapped around the outside of my head. even a glimpse, just a fractional glimpse of this experience of how awareness is greater than your mind, greater than your body. How much capacity it has. This greater capacity that awareness has is what enables and supports the other qualities of enoughness, protecting ourselves, connecting with other beings, with all of life, knowing when to self-regulate, being open to learning. If tuning in to that greater quality of awareness didn't quite happen for you this morning, keep practicing with it. Eventually it'll show up. Eventually you'll get a sense of that. And even if it was just the tiniest glimpse of it this morning, your body now, your brain, your mind knows how to do that, how to find this greater sense of awareness. In mindfulness, the basic thought is that awareness itself is our true nature. If somebody says to you, "Who are you?" in one way or another, the simplest answer is to say, "I am awareness." This sense of awareness transcends getting too caught up in the personal. It's what allows us to move from being caught up in the personal to that which is beyond. Awareness itself is really pretty powerful. It is beyond conditions like pain and pleasure, suffering and ease. Awareness is that which allows all conditions, all thoughts, emotions, sensations, and external events to arise, and yet is unchanged by them. However angry we get, awareness is not affected. However deeply we love, awareness itself is not affected. Awareness is just awareness. It's big enough to hold impermanence, not being perfect, the fact that life is not personal. It's big enough to hold each of the four conditions. How we've evolved, our genetic makeup, all of the conditioning that we've experienced in our life, all of the social and cultural norms, and not be affected by it. It is this fabulous gift that we have for just being human. We've all got it, and it's this amazing resource. Some mindfulness teachers describe it as being like the sky itself, vast, infinite, beyond. The sky holds a space for everything. The planets, the stars, the clouds, the storms, people. The sky holds a space for everything and is not affected by it. So just taking a moment and thinking about when you've had an experience of such awareness, when you've been fully present to a specific experience and yet in that observer role, just fractionally distant from it, but not disconnected. We've all had those moments. My own experience is that they are pretty magical moments, and that practice over time allows for increased frequency. It's those moments that give us space. Here's the reflection question for this morning. Just talk a little bit about what you've been learning about awareness and how this quality of pure awareness might be of benefit to you in your life in a very grounded, day-to-day kind of way. Connecting this most mysterious, ethereal, and magical of all human characteristics to our daily lives. How might that show up for you?